Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this chevron blanket here that you've seen there in the picture. I don't have a lot of room here, but isn't it pretty? Think of all the color combos you could have for that. So it's actually an extremely easy chevron. It is all single crochet other than the bobbles, and if you don't know how to do them, of course I'll show you just how easy they are. So this particular one is just made with the 3 colors, but you can make yours with however many colors you like. I like it a lot. Now there is one thing that I want to show you when it comes to a chevron that is made mostly with single crochet. It happens on almost all single crochet chevrons. When you're making a chevron and it's mostly single crochet, you will notice that the sides will tend to roll over. That happens. That's just the way it is, you know. So what things that you can do, there's really not anything you can do to prevent it, but things that you can do, I have no problem with it actually, because when you lay it out on the chair and whatnot, or where you're going to put it, you know, it can lay straight. But things that most people do is they'll block the blanket. I'm not a fan of blocking, so of course I'm not going to do that, but most of the time, you know, they'll block the blanket and that will take it out. Otherwise, you can put a border on it. That's another thing that people will do. I'm not a huge fan of bordering chevrons. Some people do. Or every once in a while I will, but I guess sometimes, yeah, I do sometimes, but if you would go down the sides, you know, with like a row or 2 or single crochet, that's something else that would straighten it out. But so if you do make this and you do notice like a wave on the edges or even a slight wave across it, remember that it's due to it being made mostly with single crochet. I just want you to know so you don't think that you're doing anything wrong, because you're not. It's just a flip up or a roll over from that single crochet. So many single crochets. All right, so the size of this blanket here that is in front of me is approximately 42 inches wide by 58 inches tall, and that is from the peak at the bottom to the peak at the top. So that is the size I'll be showing you how to make. And remember, you can change colors as often as you like. I'll tell you for this particular blanket how often the colors are changed and everything like that. So do you guys want to go ahead and get started on it? It's super pretty. I think so anyways. I love it. It matches my room. After I'm done, I'm going to throw it on my chair and you'll see it in my vids. Alright, let's look at the yarn I used. Alright, so the blanket you just saw was made out of, this is from Joann's. It's their house brand, the Big Twist. This is the Value Pound Plus, so it's their big balls. It is a 100% acrylic medium weight number 4 yarn. So that is what was used. You don't have to use this yarn. You don't even have to use a 4 weight. You can, I'm going to give you the multiple of the stitch, so you can make it any size that you wish. But if you want to follow along with me, I did use a 4 weight yarn. And 3 different colors of a 4 weight. And almost a whole ball of each. So if you want to do it the size I'm doing it, using, you know, doing the size I did using a 4 weight, you're going to need about 3,000 yards of a 4 weight yarn. All right. And if you're interested in the colors that I did use, or that was used here, toffee is the brown, and a light rose is that pink, and olive drab is that green. And then we're going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Now, remember, if you are going to adjust the size of this blanket, like using a smaller weight yarn, you would want to use the recommended hook size on the yarn. Unless you're using a 4 weight, use the J. But if you're wanting to use like a 3 weight or something, or a 5 weight, use a recommended hook size on the yarn that you're using. And also remember, this is a chevron, So your initial chain is going to have to be a lot longer than what your blanket's going to end up being. So make sure you make your initial chain. I would say, probably a couple feet longer at least, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this particular chevron is done in a multiple of 16 plus 2. So if you do not want to follow along with me, you would just chain 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16 to get as long as you need it to be. Don't forget to add a little extra for that shrinkage of the chevron, and then you add 2 more to the end. So a multiple of 16 plus 2. Now, following along with me, you want to start off with a chain of 210 stitches. 210, following along with me. Now, once you get your chain of 210, we're going to go ahead and start row 1. We're going to do a single crochet in the second stitch from our hook. So we do not count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, in the second stitch, like that, we're going to single crochet. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start the repeat of row 1. And we are going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. So remember, this is going to start the repeat of row 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there is 7. Now we're going to skip 1 stitch, skip 1, and we're going to single crochet into the next 7 stitches again. So skip 1, skip, and 1 single crochet into the next 7 again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then in the next stitch we're going to put 3 single crochets into that same stitch. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and that will end the repeat of row 1. Now if you look closely, you'll be able to see that you got the valley already started, and this right here is going to be the peak. So we're just gonna go ahead and start with the repeat of row 1 again. So 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, we skip 1 single crochet in the next 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 3 single crochets into the next 1, 2, and 3. Now you just want to keep repeating this pattern until you get to the last stitch of your row. All right, so just keep on repeating, and I'll meet up with you at the last stitch. All right, so I've come to the end. I was able to finish a complete repeat. I just did 7 single crochets here in a row, and I have 1 stitch that remains, and in that last stitch you want to put 2 single crochets in it. So 2 goes into that last stitch. just like that. And that will end row 1. Now we're going to go ahead and start row 2. We are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to go work right back into this very first stitch here. And we're going to work 2 single crochets into that first stitch. There's 1. And there's 2. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. We're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we are going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, skip. And we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches again. So this time we're skipping 2. Skip, skip. Row 2 starts the repeat. Also, it's rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's a 4-row repeat. So, sorry about that. So, 1 single into the next 7. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And 3 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, and 3. And that ends the repeat for row 2. So again, we would start out by putting a single crochet into the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip 2, skip, skip, 1 single crochet into the next 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, and 3. Now you want to go ahead and keep repeating that pattern until you make it to the last stitch of your row. Alright, so I have just did 7 stitches. Now with this pattern, when you come to the end, that turn chain is going to count as a stitch. Alright, so when you get here and you do 7, it'll appear like you have no more stitches. But remember, we single crocheted in the second chain from the hook. Well, that chain there that we skipped, we're going to go into that. And we're going to put 2 single crochets in it. 1, and there's 2. And that will end row 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and start row 3. Now, you can change colors as often as you like. I'm going to change colors in the same manner that that the colors were changed for that blanket, alright? So, row 3. Chain 1. Turn your work. 2 single crochets into the first stitch. So there's 1, 2, like that. Now we are going to start the repeat of row 3. We're going to do a single crochet and 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and there's 3. Now we are going to work a bobble into the next stitch. So the bobble is basically a double crochet 5 together. And I'm going to show you how we do that. We're going to do it all into one stitch. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go into the next stitch, and we're going to drop a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and go through the first 2, which will leave us 2 loops. We want to do that a total of 5 times, so that is number 1. But every time you'll get more loops. So we're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, got 4 loops, yarn over and go through the first 2, leaves us with 3. Again, we're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop. Now we got 5 loops. Yarn over, go through the first 2, that leaves us with 4. Yarn over, go in the same stitch, draw up a loop, and we got 6 loops. Yarn over and go through the first 2, that leaves us with 5. So we've done that 4 times. We got to do it one more time. We're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, and now we have 7 loops. All right? Yeah. Yarn over and go through the first 2, and that's going to leave us with 6. We're going to yarn over and go through the remaining 6 loops. Give it a little tug like that, and that is the bobble stitch. All right. And now we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And you're not doing anything wrong when you do the bobble. The bobble actually shows up on the right side of our work over there. See it? All right. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, skip. And we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Skip, skip. And then the next. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to put a bobble into the next. So again, we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops. We need to do that 5 times. So that would be number 1. Again, yarn over and go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2. That was 2 times. Yarn over, go into the next, or go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2. It's 3 times. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2. That's 4 times. One more time. Yarn over, same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 5 times. Yarn over and go through the first 2. And then we're going to yarn over and go through the remaining 6. Give it a tug like that. And then we're going to put a single crochet again into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to put 3 single crochets into the next stitch. And that will end the repeat of row 3. Just like that. So that's what it looks like there. So we just have to repeat it again, and repeat it again, and repeat it again. So you would start the repeat, 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then we put a bobble into the next. That 1 single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, skip. 1 single crochet into the next 3. bobble into the next. One single crochet into the next 3. And 3 singles into the next. And we're going to go ahead and keep repeating this until we get to the last stitch of our row. So this is the back side of our work, all right? And this would be the front. So go ahead and keep repeating that pattern, and I'll meet back up with you at the last stitch of our row. All right, so I'm coming to the end of the row. I did a bobble, and I had 4 stitches left. So, you know, I did a single crochet in the next 3, which is what we would do with our repeat. And that would leave us with 1 stitch here at the end. Go ahead and put 2 single crochets into this last stitch. Now I changed colors here, so I'm going to go ahead and put 1 single crochet into it, and I'm going to do another, but I'm going to change colors. So I'm going to go in, draw up a loop like I'm going to do a single crochet, but I'm going to pull the new color through that I'm going to be using for row 4. Like that. So there you got your 2 single crochets in your last stitch. I'm going to tie a little knot here. I like to clip off my colors as I go. You can carry them if you wish. But I'm going to put a little knot here. Just remember, if you carry them though, you're going to have it up the seam, up the side. But if you're planning on putting a border, that probably wouldn't matter. But otherwise, put a little knot there just so it don't slip away. And then later, undo that knot and hide those tails. Alright, so what we're going to do for row 4 is, it's just a repeat of row 2. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. What we're going to do is we are going to put 2 single crochets into the very first stitch. There's 1 and there's 2. And then we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. So there is 1, 2, 3. This space right here beside the bobble counts as a stitch, all right? So there's 4, and then on top of the bobble right back here, there's 5, 6, and there is 7. And then we will skip 2 stitches, skip, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches again. So skip your 2, skip, and here is 1. Remember the one right beside, that's going to count, right? A stitch, there's 2. And then on top of the bobble, right back here, is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then 3 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to repeat this pattern until we get to the last stitch of our row. So 1 single crochet again into the next 7 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3. Remember this, right here beside the bobble. Don't forget, go into that one. That's 4, and also on top of the bobble. So you take the bobble, and if you flip it up, you'll see it. That makes 5, 6, 7. Then we skip 2, skip, 1 single crochet in the next 7 again. So skip. Here's 1, don't forget this here beside the bobble. It's important not to forget that one. 2, and right here. That makes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, and 3. So just keep repeating that pattern until you get to the last stitch of your row. It's okay if it's doing some flippity flips, whatever. It's all right. It'll do that from time to time. All right. So I'll see you at the last stitch of the row. All right. So I've made it to the last stitch. I just did 7 in a row. 1 stitch here on the end that remains. We're going to put 2 single crochets into that last stitch. 1 and 2, and then we're going to start row 5, which is the final row of the repeat. I'm going to keep this same color. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. I'm going to put 2 single crochets into the very first stitch. There's 1 and there's 2. Now I'm going to start the repeat of row 5. I'm going to put a single crochet, 1 single crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. Then I'm going to skip 2 stitches, skip, and a single crochet into the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 single crochets into the next. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to repeat that again. That's a repeat for row 5. So we'll start off again with 1 single crochet into the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip 2 stitches, skip, and 1 single crochet into the next 7 again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 single crochets into the next. Now we're just going to keep repeating this pattern until we get to the last stitch of our row, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. All right, I'm coming to the end of around row 5. I finished off 7 single crochets. I have 1 left, so we're gonna put 2 single crochets into that last stitch. So here is where for the blanket that you've seen, the color was changed here, and it's also the end of the repeat rows. It's rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're very, very easy repeat rows. Now remember, you can change colors whenever you want. That is completely up to you. You can make the whole thing solid if you want. But this is where the next color was changed in the blanket that you see. So you want to end with 2 single crochets in the last stitch. So there's 1. And then I'm going to change colors here so I go in like that on my second one, and I would bring in the next color that you want to use and pull it through like that. And clipping that off. Tying a little tail so it doesn't slip away. So as you could, well, if you're following along with me, as you can see, not every repeat color, not every time you repeat a color will there be a bobble in that row. So you can see there was not a bobble in that row, but there still is bobble. I mean, those color bobbles in the blanket, you see, but not every time that you repeat it will there be a bobble. See this row right here, there is no bobble on that pink row, but there's a bobble on this pink row. You know, same goes for pretty much all of them. This brown row does not have no bobble, but there's bobble on this brown row. And the same will go for the green. There's no bobble in this green row, but you know, there are green bobbles. So, remember, this is just the order that I'm just showing you the order that the blanket you've seen went in. So that's it. Now you would just repeat rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I just finished out row 5, so I would just go back and start row 2 again. And the color change is this I would consider color A, the brown that you've seen, and color B would be the pink, and then color C would be the green in the blanket. So the color order sequence that I changed, that the colors were changed in this blanket, were 3 colors of the brown, and then 3 rows of the brown, 2 rows of the pink, and 2 rows of the green. 3 rows of the brown, 2 rows of the pink, and 2 rows of the green. That's how the sequence went for this blanket. But you do it however you want to do it. All right, this is kind of what it looks like if you do that. Do it with 3 colors: 3 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows, 3 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows, 3 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. All right, this is, you know, kind of how it looks. That's the way it looks doing it that way. So I finished row 5, so I'm just going, what I would do is I'd start row 2 again, and I would do repeat rows 2, 3, 4, 5 with my next color. The repeat of rows 2 and 3 would be done with my color C, or my third color. So repeating row 2, I would just chain 1 and turn, and 2 singles into the first stitch. 1, 2. Remember, I'm just repeating row 2. And then I'd start the repeat of row 2 with single crochet into the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I'd skip 2, skip, single crochet in the next 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 into the next stitch. So I'm going to repeat that pattern. I'm actually on row 6, but I'm just repeating what we did on row 2, all right, with my color C, all right, my third color. And I'm going to repeat that until I get to the end of the row. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 6 with my color C, the third color that I'm using, which is just a repeat of row 2. And I just finished out my 7 single crochets, and we end with 2 single crochets into that last stitch. So remember, I did say that I do 2 colors, or 2 rows of this color. Remember, 3 rows of color A, 2 rows of color B, and 2 rows of color C. So row 7, I'm just going to repeat row 3, and row 3 is the bobble row. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn our work. All right, we're going to put 2 single crochets into our very first stitch. 1, and there's 2. So we're going to start the repeat of row 3, which is what we're repeating row 3 on row 7 here. I'm probably just confusing the heck out of you. I'm so sorry. We're going to put a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. I promise it's very easy once you get to going. There's 2. There's 3. And now we're going to put a bobble into the next stitch. Six loops, yarn over, go through all 6, give it a nice tight tug, and a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And bobbles are always done on the back side of your work, so just remember that. That way you know you're doing it right. See, we're on the back side. The bobble row will always be on the back. All right, there's three single crochets in a row, and we're going to skip 2 again. Skip, and single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, bobble into the next. Give it a tug, single crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 single crochets into the next, all into the next. 1, 2, and 3. So this is row 7, and we're just repeating row 3. It's looking good. So you just want to keep repeating that pattern of 3 single crochets, bobble, 3 single crochets, skip 2, 3 single crochets, bobble, 3 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets into the same stitch up here at the peak until you get to the last stitch of your row. All right, I'll meet up with you at the end of row 7. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 7, which is a repeat of row 3, and I've done 2 colors of the color C, or the 3rd color that I'm using. So I want to switch colors at the last stitch. So I did a bobble and then 3 stitches, and I got 1 stitch left, like always. I want to put 2 single crochets in that last stitch, but I'm going to switch back to color A, the first color that I used, which was brown. And I'm going to pull it through, and this is kind of how it's done now. Just repeating rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now remember, you do not have to change colors. I keep repeating that, but you know, well, you change them whenever you want. But and then this first color that I started with, 3 rows of that. The other ones were only 2 rows each. All right. So row 8 would just be a repeat of row 4. So we would chain 1 and turn our work. 2 single crochets into the first stitch. 1, 2. Start the repeat. 1 single crochet into the next 7. So 1, 2, 3. Remember to get this one right beside the bobble. Very important. 4, and the one on top of the bobble. Flip it. There it is. 5, 6, 7. Skip 2. Skip. Single crochet in the next 7 again. There's one. The one beside the bobble. 2. The one on top of the bobble. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7 and 3 single crochets into the next, and that is what you would repeat until the end of the row. So that is how this pattern is done. All right, repeating rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. Probably have, you change, like I said, you change as often as you want, but if you want to, this one, like I said, 3 colors. Color A was the brown, 3 rows. Color B was the pink, 2 rows. Color green was, color C was green, and that's 3 rows. So if you're using 3 colors, you want to follow along with me. 3 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. 3 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows. All right? That's how it's done. And all the while, repeating rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, you got this. It's not hard, don't worry. And you'll see your size, they'll get lots of tails, but they'll start to get, they'll come up and get straight there as you go. But yeah, that's it. That's how it's done. Trust me, once you get it down, the repeat rows are really, really easy, and you'll get those color changes down too. You'll see, like, the next time you repeat your pink, there'll be a bobble in it. So you'll see that. You'll notice the color change pattern as well. That is if you're following along with me. I mean, if you're not, yours will change however you do it. I didn't mean to make the video so long. I just wanted to make it, in case people wanted to do it just like me. I wanted to make sure everybody understood the color changes that were done. Now, yeah, after a while, you can do it as tall as you want. This one was done to 144 rows, all right, total. And remember, it will need blocked or a border on it because the edges they're going to curl. That is just what they do especially when you're using, a tight single crochet chevron pattern. So they do that. I don't mind it though. So, because like I said, I didn't put it on my chair and and it kind of just lays flat against the chair. But if you are a blocker, yes, definitely a good blocking would be beneficial for this. I would recommend a blocking over a border if you were going to choose one or the other. But if you don't mind a border, a couple rows of single crochets down each side would be straighten that out too. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I apologize for it being so long. I just want to make sure everybody understood those repeats and everything. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. You change colors whenever you want, okay? You do it how you do you, all right? And I will see you guys on my next video. Make this picture on Facebook, yeah? Link below. I want to see it, okay? Hit that like and leave me a comment below. I'll see you guys later, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.